Good afternoon. Welcome to Flynn Product Design. I'm the director here, Chris Flynn. I thought I'd do a quick video to introduce our Product Design for Startups workshop. It's something that we've been doing for probably about 10 years now, and you could access this on our website from this page, Startups Workshop. But I thought it would be useful for us not only to sort of touch on why we do the workshop, why it's powerful, but to quickly run through a PDF that we use to sort of describe the workshop. So in addition to when we meet and greet our clients, we often will give them this PDF. So what is a Product Design for Startups workshop? Ultimately, we're trying to take a proactive approach to when we meet new businesses, whether that's established or a startup business. Some of the challenges remain the same, and actually it's about being very proactive in our approach to how we essentially go through and understand that client's criteria and what it is that they're doing. So being proactive in onboarding that client, and rather than just being passive, and obviously you're either active or passive. So for us, we realize that sometimes companies are going out there and they're requesting quotations from a number of different businesses, and so what they think they need is somebody who's going to give them kind of an apples with apples approach to show me kind of essentially what do you cost compared to another company. Now Flynn has built a reputation of doing things differently because we approach problems from a different perspective. So it's fundamental that follows through in how we address our new clients and looking at their problems with fresh eyes. So actually it's almost disingenuous, or perhaps not even ethical, for us to just go ahead and quote based on assumptions that have been carried through. So the workshop is very much a hands-on opportunity to focus on the success for the project moving forwards, and fundamentally that is what a product startup workshop is about. It's understanding that the traditional model was flawed, that people, whether that's entrepreneurs, inventors, or people who are running product businesses, do they have access to innovators and innovation consultancy who are being proactive and actually challenging them at that front end in order to shake down their ideas. Over the years, obviously, we've had the luxury of working with lots of interesting product businesses, and it's been awesome. What we've noticed through that experience is that people, not only were they coming to us and asking for proposals, but being kind of used to some level of passive approach to that. And actually, on top of that, there's the observation of why product startups and new product businesses were not potentially meeting their opportunity or maximizing their opportunity. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys today about is our observation that these critical top 5 reasons why a product business may fail to thrive. And so we list that as a top 5. We talk about product DNA. Do the business owners, or those behind creating the brief and specification for a new project, do those individuals really understand what DNA will succeed in the marketplace? And I think that responsibility is one of those things. We as a company enjoy that responsibility and enjoy working with our clients, considering that that sort of thought process of looking at what is the environment that this product is going into, and learning from past cases where products didn't thrive. So we use a Darwinian approach to that, which is very much, DNA is a good reference, putting the basic information within that product in its makeup such that it is built to thrive in its environment, whatever product that might be. And it applies, just as in nature, it applies to product design, evolution, and optimization. So number 2 here was, do they understand the power of design and therefore getting a return on investment for innovation when they're seeking product designers and innovation companies? Are they understanding the value that doing that correctly can bring? and we often see that is underutilized. And so, the flip side of that is challenging designers and being really proactive in that approach of making that investment in design fully pay dividends, and actually that's something that we really thrive on as a consultancy. The third one here is considering better design options, right? So unbelievably, people will go through a process and they become very married, if you like, to their own solution, and they might bring that, whether this is an established SME or whether or not this is an entrepreneur that's looking to take a product to market. Are they really understanding the design options that are available? Often it's a case of there's a design on the table, it might be that that's their idea. And what we try to sort of foster is, bring a healthy level of objectivity to that process, and actually bring that along as a solution that is on the table, and encourage and create a project where that is essentially put to the test and shaken down, and it goes through a process of trial, if you like, such that in the same way that you would do from getting that DNA again to thrive, those design options, if you've only got one option, then you're limited straight away. And obviously that's our skill set. Bring problems to us and we'll very rapidly deliver solutions. So it's a case of really encouraging clients to be objective, bring about a project where you actually encourage alternate designs to be considered, alternate ways of looking at this, and reaching true sort of opportunity and looking at maximizing opportunity. Key again, number 4 is looking at risk, understanding technical risk, understanding, if we're bringing in certain features that might potentially overburden a project from a technical point of view and or a manufacturing design point of view, as well as understanding, techniques for understanding market traction and potential market research and focus group work, etc. So looking at those along with the design options, similarly, which design option or which feature stack would have less risk, and being open and being comfortable talking about that. That's something that we really think is vital. We're looking to sort of go through this process of asking some of those harder questions when in a safe place, if you like, and that's very much what the workshop is about. And finally, this is something that we are seeing all the time and still does not change to this day. People, because patent industry is so long on the high street, and it's an established way of people and businesses going to patent attorney, and the patent attorney community is obviously provides an extremely valuable professional service. However, their sort of reason for being is not to optimize the commercial success of a product. They are very much focused on optimizing the legal strength of a piece of intellectual property, and they do an invaluable job there. So what we're saying is, consider the best time to patent. It's very common that people go and invest money in patenting very early for ideas and solutions which are essentially not mature enough to go to market. And in certain countries there is more flexibility with the patent process. In the UK there's less flexibility there, and that could mean that you have invested in patenting, which soon, once you work with an innovation company like Flynn, then becomes not obsolete, but potentially obsolete and potentially outmoded by the better design options that should be being requested and should be come through an industrial design process. So very often we've met with companies that they've gone and spent a big chunk of their budget on international patenting, and actually just to discover that the design itself could be improved in an afternoon. And so we don't think that that's an ethical way to run product startup and innovation startup. So as a consultancy, we're really trying to make an affordable, very easy, there's no obligation to take forwards a project with us through the workshop, but it is certainly an invaluable time spent working on product business. And we found that it really does optimize the pathway. So to wrap this up, you were talking about tuning up your idea, developing a roadmap for your success of your product. We're talking advice on commercializing that product, enhancing your USP, advice on manufacturing and its influence on design. And really you're shaking down this before your competitors do. And that's really what we think is fundamental. To go through a quick process, which because it's quite disparate in terms of how many companies will come to us. They'll be at different phases. There is not really a particularly linear process to this and a non-standard process, but we would say that our workshop really covers these bases: understanding you and your capabilities, where are your pain points, and what skill sets may be lacking or need support with. Understanding the problem, very much overlooked, and again why almost like the workshop exists, because people skip past the problem and talk about the solution. We ask people to sort of define problem, they try to explain the problem via the solution. But really it's demonstrable that if you go in and really distill and drill down into a problem, then you're really cutting past the assumptions that have been done by other people's solutions that may have come before. Obviously we can innovate in any sector, but often as prior art, and so looking at it from first principles, we think is very much our raison d'etre and what we enjoy to do and what we love to be able to show clients the power of that. So analysing the solution, as talked about before, that's shaking this idea down and considering the competition. How does this sit in the market? Again, what product DNA do we need, because we're trying to understand what market is it going into. And Flynn is a product design consultancy that doesn't shy away from the fact that we are designed for business. We're fundamentally industrial design, product design development, and so it's key that we're understanding what does this mean for a business case. And we are really trying to make a venture, whether or not you need investment. If you're an established brand, you may not need investment at all. However, that same formula, if we can make you investable, means that we're essentially doing fantastic work with you, even if you're an established product brand. Then if you're going through that formula, it means that your product is going to thrive and have a much increased chance of traction. Critical to understand design for manufacture. Obviously, as a full spectrum product design consultancy, we're able to take products from very much that pre-design phase all the way through to design, development, and supply chain, and supplier matching, and working as consultants through the early manufacture process as well. We want to support our clients at every stage that we can add value. And fundamentally, as I said, the workshop is here to establish a proactive approach to how we can work together. So the workshop fundamentally comes away with a working brief and a specification, and based off of those we can offer you our proposal that we would say is fully considered. So again, optimize the project, optimize the product, and increase commercial success. So we aim to get that proposal to you following a meeting swiftly, but it will take a few days. And in this PDF you can actually book a link here. It can be booked from our site here. If you just hit our page and go down to Startups Workshop, you'll find a page here which will allow you to book it. And a lot of people would just book the private afternoon. And I should say that workshops are fundamentally an afternoon or a full day, but they are fundamentally private because of the intellectual property that we're naturally dealing with. This means that these sessions are done and conducted fully confidentially. So you go here, you select a time and a date that is convenient to you, and it's as simple as that. that's a very simplistic way of onboarding people to the workshop, and we try to make it accessible as possible. So that's really it from me today on the workshop. I'd like to encourage you, if you've got any questions, then reach out in the comments section and or send an email to hello@flynn-product-design.com, and we wish you every success in your product futures.